What's up, the squad? Back with another video. I seen the title's going out. Make sure you hit the like button, hit that subscribe button for me, please. Y'all see it right here. Brandon Tatum posted, basically a little summary, for people that, truly don't know what's going on, but, a lot of people do. Nolan Wells was an 18-year-old young man who lost his life. Obviously his family deserves the truth. And, it had a lot to do. For me personally, from what I'm hearing, is that he drowned. They end up finding his body, and definitely a sad situation. I definitely say that. It says here his family deserves to know the truth, which is definitely, is very understandable. Very understandable. It says, but the rush to turn this into a racial story before the investigation is complete may doing more harm than good. And I truly agree with that statement. It truly is, and I truly agree within that, because it's truly, truly important to understand that you shouldn't have to put race within everything. You shouldn't have to. It's definitely sickening that people do. You got it right here, Fox News, on the story, saying the key details in this case are not adding up. Let's check it out.
The family of 18-year-old Nolan Wells is demanding answers after he was found dead days after disappearing during a 4th of July boating trip with friends to a remote Mississippi island. Now his parents are calling for a full and transparent investigation into what happened. Our Madison Scarpino is live with the very latest on this mystery. Hi, Madison.
Hi, Aisha. Well, the parents of Nolan are saying things that they're hearing about their son's disappearance and death are not adding up. Prominent civil rights attorney Ben Crump is now representing the family. He is leading an independent investigation as he says the family has distrust in Mississippi law enforcement officials. Here they are at a press conference in New York yesterday. Crump says the family is not going to accept that Nolan accidentally drowned, as law enforcement has allegedly alluded to. They say their son was an athlete and a good swimmer. Here's Nolan's heartbroken mother.
We just want to know. We just want to know what happened and why our baby didn't come home.
This all comes after Nolan took a boat to Horn Island on the 4th of July with a group of friends and never returned. His disappearance prompting a big search before his body was found on Monday. And the Wells family saying there are a bunch of questions still about what happened. For example, the family says Nolan's friends had his phone after his mother tracked it down. They also had his keys. And his mother says it appears text and Snapchats on the phone had been deleted. They say the friend said Nolan insisted on staying behind while they returned home on the boat, but Crump says that's not like him.
How the hell does Crump know? He don't know them. Like what? Like man, let me tell y'all something. I look at the simple fact that regardless who, it don't matter what, it don't matter who, it don't matter the code, it don't matter about none of that. If something did happen to Nolan to where somebody has done something, they need to be held accountable. They need to face those consequences. But for people to assume and to make this a racial thing, completely outrageous to me. And I don't agree with it whatsoever. I don't like it at all, when it becomes this. And I've told y'all before, just like Crump, just like Jasmine Crockett, Tyler Perry, all these different individuals have something to say and doing this and doing that. Get out in the community and actually do something. Jasmine Crockett, what you literally every time it's something big, you want to put your name out, but her district looks like shit. District is just completely horrible. Ben Crump, this is my first time. I didn't even know who he was, but until again, it's something that he knows will be huge and pause. And be out to everybody. Tyler Perry, come on now. Don't even get me started with him in the way that he does people and the things that he does. It's these big names that's out here, but do nothing when it comes down to the community. Do nothing when it comes to all this black on black crime. But as soon as it has anything to do racial wise, where it has a white individual and a black individual, They pop up out of different places when they know that things can get bigger than what it is. It's truly sickening.
That's not like him.
We're talking about an 18-year-old kid. What teenager would leave their phone behind if they're going to stay on this island? What teenager wouldn't take their phone? And so it's not adding up. It's not adding up at all.
So family and investigators are asking anyone around on the 4th of July that day to send any photos or videos they may have. And we're also seeing celebrities get involved. Former NFL player Colin Kaepernick is paying for an independent autopsy, and actor Tyler Perry is paying for Nolan's funeral. Aisha.
Okay, Madison Scarpino, live for us. Thank you, Madison.
I'm going to be wondering with y'all. You have a lot of people in the comments saying, oh, what's wrong with paying for a funeral? There's nothing wrong with them paying for the funeral at all. I don't think it's anything wrong at all. I actually think it's pretty cool, that, you obviously get to do those things, but why not do anything when it comes down to a lot of this, like I said, this black on black crime. I live on the outskirts of Indianapolis. I see things that happens all the time within a lot of black teens unaliving other black teens or things of that sort, and I'm saying this and I say this before, and obviously, all teens, all young men, or young women, but you see so much violence when it comes down to it with a lot of these young individuals, and they have nothing to say. They do nothing to help. It's always when it's this. Colin Kaepernick, Tyler Perry. Oh no, I'm not saying it's no argument within that. There's no argument within that. I'm sure here in Indianapolis, there's somebody that knows, or in other places, that knows or has a family member that has been through something that has been tragic within gun violence or some type of violence of doing something to another person, especially when it comes down to black on black crime, since we want to talk about black this and black that. I'm telling y'all, it's definitely wild. I tell you that it's definitely wild. Says right here, viral video, on 4th of July party on an island off the coast of Mississippi. Says it did not have, it didn't involve Nolan Wells, as they saying that it did. A friend of Nolan Wells gives ABC News a clear picture of the mystery surrounding, his passing. Like I said, I don't know. Me personally, I don't know everything that went on. I'm not about to say that I truly do, in a way, because again, it's investigation that they're doing, and that's why it becomes sickening when people constantly, do these things and say these things when it comes down to them being so much of putting race into it. Says Shepard said, and Shepard is, I want to get his, I'm not sure, Tristan Shepard. I hope I'm saying that right. Shepard. I just say Shepard. Said, who said he was a high school friend of Wells, said on Sunday, and this is him in the picture if y'all can see, said on Sunday the voice heard on the video was his own. Wells was not in the video. That's me yelling. There was no talk about a phone in that video, but instead Shepard said he was telling others who were birth restraining him to let him off the boat so he continued to fight. Said Shepard said the altercation was between him and another man, a stranger who allegedly started a fight with him. He said that he and his group of friends, which include Wells, had been drinking alcohol since the late morning. So it had, as people know, it probably had a lot to do with, alcohol and probably some weed or something. Said which included Wells, so they drunk. Said since late morning after multiple boats, all containing his friends, arrived on the island for outing that had been planned to be the one last hoorah before returning to either school or work after the holiday break. About 300 people, many of them former high school classmates, were gathered near them on the island. Later in that day, after being told the boat needed to return to shore due to electrical issue, Shepard said Wells said he wanted to stay behind because he met a girl and will return on another friend's boat. ABC News has made attempts to contact the girl. Authorities say that they have been interviewing everyone they can who is with Wells or may have spoken to him that day. Go down. Wells' body was recovered on Monday in the water off the island shore. Jackson County Sheriff Ledbetter told ABC News he suspects Wells drowned, but is still investigating. As y'all know, it's still important to investigate. So a lot of people aren't understanding that. It's definitely important, for that. You got it right here. It says Shepard said he and Wells were among a tight circle of friends who had known each other since freshman year at Ocean Springs High School. Shepard 20 said Wells was
This morning, investigators in Mississippi are combing over videos taken on Horn Island around the...
I don't want that to play, y'all. I don't want that to play. Said Wells was just somebody that you automatically just felt so comfortable, to talk to. And they bonded through athletics. Their friend group was very diverse in race and ethnicity, and he said they all had one thing in common: admiration for Wells. So as y'all know, I feel like a lot of people are speaking, highly within Nolan Wells too. Nobody would ever hurt Nolan in our friend group. We would die for him. We would do everything in our power for that guy. If he needed anything, we would do it, he said. Got it right here. It says, authorities stressed their work to determine exactly what happened is still ongoing. Shepard declined to be interviewed on camera by ABC News because he said he fears for his safety. And he said he and other friends had been, basically threatened. Said he wanted to speak publicly, but he wanted to share his version of what happened. Crump told Good Morning America last Thursday that a key piece of this evidence was Wells' phone, which he said was retrieved from his friend, something he said was suspicious. Shepard said it was very common for everyone to leave their phones in the boats. He said a few videos or photos exist from that day because everyone was in the water and not on their phones. All our friends are out there who we're communicating with, and we're in salt water. We're not in fresh water, he said. Wells, he said, placed his phone on a boat of one of his friends. When Nolan got in the water, he put his phone on the boat dash with probably 15 other phones. So, it's all out there. I don't know why people are truly, making it seem that way and doing that, but it's truly, truly insane of them, making assumptions and doing that. It's truly sickening. I'll tell you that. You got it right here. This is, it says the family and Nolan arrived for a meeting with Jackson County District Attorney this morning. Y'all know this is, as y'all see yesterday morning. What I do find pretty odd about this, I don't know why Crump is holding her hand. I don't know. This dude is literally he's a grifter. I'll tell you that. He's definitely a grifter. Sarah Fields posted, and make sure y'all go follow Sarah Fields. Please, do so. Put out a lot of great information. Says Attorney Ben Crump, along with the family of Nolan Wells, addressed the media today after meeting with Jackson County District Attorney Angel Morath. One thing Crump is not forthcoming about is that sending this to the grand jury is standard procedure for any unnatural or suspicious death in Jackson County. Remember when I said they love to keep the uneducated uneducated? According to Jackson County District Attorney's Office, here you go right here.
The thing I assume some of you may know, the thing to announce, she shared with the family that there will be a grand jury that she will turn this case over to once they have collected all the information and finished their investigation. We also agreed that we will have a mutual inspection of the cell phone with our experts and their experts. Attorney Eric Hertz is helping lead the investigation team with former law enforcement experts who are going to help us with the cell phone download. So everybody will be able to see at the same time what the cell phone has. We also talked about trying to make sure we dot every I and cross every T. I know that we're getting about 50 calls a day to 100 calls a day from people who were there on Horn Island, people who are familiar with individuals that were there on Horn Island. And so we continue to be steadfast in trying to get to the truth of why Nolan Wells is dead. At this time, we'll have Attorney Hertz say a few words, and then Chris.
And that's the end of that. Let me tell y'all something. Being real with y'all, I know for a fact Ben Crump doesn't care whatsoever about Nolan Wells or his family. This is, like I said, this is something that obviously seems like it definitely boosts his appearance up, the way, you know, who he is, this, that, and the other. Me personally, I would want them to definitely, obviously do a great investigation with it. Regardless, I want them to know, and I feel like it's definitely important for these things. It definitely is important for these things. But one thing that I said that I hate and that I cannot stand is the simple fact that, it's definitely important for people to not base it off of that. Even I truly feel like it's one of those things of obviously investigate, get out, what's needed, and to realize, that. I mean, like I'm not one that goes for that. Y'all know that. I'm not one that's about to sit here and make it seem like it's we should throw race regardless of who did this and who didn't got any of this going on. They should have, they should be held accountable and face the consequences regardless. Now, if it's nobody and that he did, drowned in it, they got a lot of apologizing to do. And they definitely going to be looking pretty wild about this. They definitely going to be looking very much so wild, because what they're doing is truly sickening. And I can't stand that they're even doing this. You having so many people post on social media saying, I will never let my black kids hang out with white kids and this, that, and the other. Man, people got to stop. People definitely got to stop. Got it right here. Says evidence that criminal charges, no more process. Also, just side note, based on what said publicly today, it appears they have not yet completed their own forensic review of Nolan Wells' cell phone and treating that examination as something that still needs to happen. Ben Crump announced that there will be a mutual inspection of the phone involving both law enforcement and independent experts retained by the family. That announcement strongly suggests they are not yet in position to make definitive claims about everything that is or is not on the device. Yet Ben Crump has done nothing but spread wild accusations regarding Nolan's death before the very forensic examination he says now will take place. In my opinion, that completely unbid. And let me tell y'all something. He's not the only one that's doing that. Jasmine Crockett is also doing things and assuming. While they're saying these different things, not only are they doing that, but they're saying, we don't want to assume because they're investigating. So while they're giving people false things that's going down and saying this and saying that, not only are they doing that, but they're also saying, we just have to wait. And maybe it isn't, anything. I'm going to let y'all listen to what Jasmine Crockett gonna say right here. Check it out.
That specifically as Black Americans in the United States right now, we are always going to question whether or not there is a racial motivation, but also, if you know the history of Mississippi, I think that you'd have to be blind not to question potentially what is happening, especially in the case of an 18-year-old who ends up deceased without his cell phone, without any communication whatsoever with anybody, prior to ending up deceased, and he was out with his Caucasian friends, and then law enforcement tells everybody there's no foul play to be suspected. Now, a blind man could see that there's something to investigate.
So what do you think?
Well, I mean, you know me. I'm a civil rights lawyer. I mean, I'm looking...
Because she's obviously, that's the person that she is. That's why. That's the person that she is. She's that way. Like that. I mean, it's nothing else to talk about. That's the type of person that she is. And for her to always base things off color, and that's exactly what they're doing right now and what they're pushing. And it's truly sickening.
And I'm looking at the fact that these white kids deleted their social media accounts. It's not like they sat down and talked to law enforcement. It's not even like law enforcement decided that they wanted to sit down and talk to them. They decided, the little black boy ended up dead without his cell phone, without his friends, going and telling his parents, oh yeah, we got the cell phone, they got to go and track down the phone and find the phone. It looks like a racial thing to me, but hey, maybe we'll find out that it wasn't.
Are you in the camp of if Nolan was white and his friends were...
Yeah. Okay. The friends, listen, they would have absolutely... Yeah.
Are you in the camp of if Nolan was white and his friends were...
Yeah. Okay. The friends, listen, they would have absolutely been under the jail with no questions asked first.
Really?
But for sure.
Okay.
We already know this. Like, we know how, I mean, think about it this way.
You're saying it's a done deal. If Nolan was white, his friends would be...
If Nolan was white, they would be in jail, they would ask questions later. It is the same thing that they do with any...
No, that's not how that works. If it's called investigations. You obviously don't know everything that has happened within Nolan Wells, so you can't. Man, I'm telling y'all, she's a sick
thing else. When you look at law enforcement and how law enforcement treats a black person in general, a black person with no gun, they somehow get so scared that they end up dead. But you end up taking, say, a white racist killer who decided to go into a church and gun down a bunch of folk. They took Dylan Roof with no problems. We know that he was a known killer at the time, right? So, like, they fear black skin, and they treat black skin a lot differently when it comes to the criminal justice system.
You know, I'm sure some people out there will look at this and maybe think like Jasmine Crockett doesn't know what she's talking about. So to them, you have to say what?
They will walk a day in my shoes. That's what I have to say.
I do every day, and not literally her shoes, but I'm black. I'm gonna tell y'all right now. I'm not about to sit here and base things, off of color. I've hung out with a lot of, my white friends still to this day. I'm not, y'all know how I am. I ain't even got to sit here and explain myself. I truly don't have to sit here and explain myself. But I'm going to tell y'all right now for sure that regardless of what Jasmine Crockett is talking about, regardless of what this individual trust and believe, it's important for us to, talk about this, to wait as there, you have more and more things come out each and every day about this case, because things definitely will, things definitely will come out. Like I said, they're still investigating, and that's what's important about this. My thing is why are they doing stuff like this? You truly says protests in Ocean Springs, Mississippi demands transparency and answers in the investigation of Nolan Wells. Community members gathered in Ocean Springs to remember Nolan Wells and call for transparency from authorities in the investigation of his death. Says Nolan Wells, football player from Ocean Springs High School and Southwest Mississippi Community College, went missing over the 4th of July weekend. You got it right here that they got Black Panthers out. They got all these different black celebrities that's doing this and doing that. My thing is, y'all got all this energy to have these protests and having the Black Panthers and this, that, and the other. Why don't y'all get out and actually do something for the community, as things are getting bad when it comes down to all this black on black crime? That's my thing. Like, y'all doing it, and I'm not saying, do what y'all want. A lot of people protest for different things. I may not agree with a lot of things. I'm not a protesting guy, but I mean, just have that same energy for everything. And they truly don't. And it just goes to show you just how sickening people could be. I'm telling y'all. They truly have it, so many individuals that's out here that's marching, that's doing this and doing that, having all these energy to protest and to show they, out, not literally YouTube. I'm going to have to take that out, because I don't even want to sit here and, I ain't got time for it. Truly ain't got time for it. And that's what I got to watch what I say on there. But it just be pissing me off. It pisses me off so much because a lot of these individuals that have a lot that's going on, that's protesting, that's out here speaking like this. That's just like the whole case with Carmelo Anthony. You have so many people that will speak out and say this and say that and have different things to say. But my thing is, y'all sit here and y'all make things, y'all glorify things to oh yeah. Listen to this rap artist and they doing this. Y'all sit there and laugh when it's a black individual fight another black individual here, or they acting wild, or they looting, or these different gang. Man, I'm telling y'all, it's stuff like this. Y'all sit there and y'all try y'all think these things are okay, to do, but then as something happens like this because it has something to do with a white person, y'all ready to go off and y'all ready to say this, say that. Truly sickening to me, but hey. You got it right here. Brandon Tatum said we need facts, not outrage, in the Nolan Wells investigation. Check it out.
The thing is that, to me, I find it reprehensible for people to be projecting as if every white person is the same and every black person is the same. I don't like that. Nolan is not a representation of every black person because his skin is black. And these white kids aren't every white person that ever exists because their skin is white. Man, give the investigation a chance to go through and then make your claims. But to project that white people had to been doing something wrong. We don't know anything that happened. I want y'all to understand that. Nobody knows anything. Nobody knows how he died. They just know he drowned. Exactly. We don't know how he drowned, where he drowned, when he drowned. We don't know the last people that were with him. They have no evidence of nothing. We know nothing. But to project that because he was around white people that it had to have been something wrong is not fair. Now, if it come out and they find out these kids did something to him, then come on and put it out there. I want black people to do better than this. Mm-hmm. Bro, y'all, the whole life is activism. Man, y'all acting like it's the 30s. You ain't got nothing better to do than still be complaining like y'all still slaves. Man, I'm proud of our brothers standing up, but when a black man died, they ain't nowhere to be found.
Nowhere to be found.
I ain't seen black Hebrew Israelites going out saying nothing in the community when another brother kill another brother. And I got 400 videos of showing you just straight violence in the black neighborhood. I sent some videos in our chat.
And y'all know what to sit there and do? They pull them phones out and they start recording, laughing.
Brothers just doing shootouts in the middle of the street. I saw a video of a brother at the gas station. It was a homeboy coming around with a mask on, shoot him. He paralyzed. He dead in the middle of the street. They doing CPR. Every day in the black community stuff is happening, but you don't get no love unless white people doing it to you.
I told y'all, bro. It ain't nothing that I'm just saying. Like, I'm not about to sit here and just make it seem like I'm being so serious. You don't see that whatsoever. I see it I told y'all. I live on the outskirts of Indianapolis. I see it all the time. I see it pop up on my phone on my Citizens app. I see it all the time. And you don't see nobody going out protesting, saying this, saying that. They don't do stuff like that. You literally got Tyler Perry. He says, he covered their funeral expenses, for Nolan. Like I said, I feel like it's an amazing thing, for these, but to not know exactly what happened, as far as this investigation is and this, that, and the other, but to put your face there because so many people have said, oh, this got something to do with white individuals. And even if have all this, regardless of the race, black, brown, white, green, yellow, it don't matter who did it. Have all that same energy for everybody else when it comes down to it, man. It's truly sickening to me. Truly sickening to me. You have it right here. It says the family has not decided not to use the Mississippi Coast Convention Center for Nolan Wells' funeral. I'm hearing that, and it's supposed by Sarah Fields. I want to make sure I say that. I'm hearing that they're working through logistics such as security, RSVPs, and metal detectors because of the expected crowd. How sad is that? Because the racist horrific harassment and targeting on the internet. Nolan's friends cannot even grieve for him in peace, which is definitely sickening and sad. Says there's still no foul play found or suspected, and some of his friends are having their lives threatened because of the color of their skin. And I'm going to say, the quiet part out loud. I don't care if you don't like it. Nolan's parents never should have encouraged, accepted, or endorsed the help or behavior of race baiters like Al Sharpton and Ben Crump. And I'll tell y'all right now, I completely agree 100% what Sarah Fields said. Right here. Ben Crump made this much worse with the race baiting and by posting unproven and even completely debunked claims on his social media. Shame on everyone all the way around. He can't even be laid to rest in peace. And I definitely agree with Sarah with that. And that was amazing and beautiful of what she said. That was well said. I'm going to say that. Definitely well said. Very respectful, and, I just, and it's truly sickening. I'm going to just say that. It's truly sickening, and I definitely feel, bad when it comes down to Nolan, to Nolan's friends that this has to even be like this. You know, it's truly sad. Make sure you hit the like button, hit that subscribe, and let me know y'all comments, thoughts down below. Catch y'all next one.